Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to Driver Ratings, the show, the Monday after race day, where we give the drivers on the grid a rating out of 10 for their race performance in yesterday's Grand Prix. And of course, that was the Turkish Grand Prix. Finally, a rain-affected race in the 2020 season. It's threatened all year, but finally, rain affected it. Although technically it didn't rain in the Grand Prix.
I was going to say, we didn't really have any rain.
It was just really wet for a while.
Yeah.
Then it got a bit drier.
But then it didn't really dry up too much.
No. Because it was a slippy surface anyway.
So we didn't have the wets into slicks, into wets kind of thing.
No.
Which we all hoped for, but it was just wets, inters.
Inters.
That's the one.
That's the one. That is the one. So if you don't know, I just explained what we do in driver ratings. Yeah. All right, well, in that case, let's jump into it. So, starting off with Williams.
Yes, indeed. George Russell was 16th and Nicholas Latifi retired after colliding with Grosjean.
Phew, what a relief. We're back to normal. Last time it was Red Bull out. It was very confusing. I couldn't comprehend it. We're back with Williams. I'm in my safety zone. I know what I'm talking about. Space. George Russell, 6 out of 10?
Yep. He struggled with tyre temperature throughout the race and didn't do much.
Nope. Nicholas Latifi, retirement. So, no rating. Williams done. Quick. On to the next team, which is Haas. No, scratch that. Actually, we probably should get Haas out the way because they were the only double retirement. Oh, how exciting.
So no score.
There you go.
So I can't remember why Grosjean retired, but Magnussen was a unsafe pit release that they had to tell him to stop.
But then he went going again and then eventually retired, didn't he?
No, Magnussen, they stopped, I think.
Okay. All right.
Maybe this.
I thought because they could wheel him back in and go, because there was something in commentary about someone was stuck behind Magnussen who would have not been there, but for the pit stop thing.
Well, eventually they retired him, along with Roman Grosjean, which I can't remember the exact issue.
Both of them looked like they didn't have a good day at the office in terms of they were like, these are really tricky conditions, and in those conditions, you definitely need a car you can trust in. That's not the Haas car. No. Absolutely not. So, moving on. Next one up
is Alfa Romeo with KIMI and P15. Geo retirement.
Yes. What could have been for Alfa Romeo? Definitely, because, both drivers qualifying into Q3, but you felt like it was just going to be one of those days because Giovinazzi crashed on the way to the grid before the formation lap, was able to get back, start the race, but eventually his car just died.
Gearbox issue, I think.
Yep, so no rating. And Kimi Räikkönen was difficult. I think he was just...
It was, again, another tyre temperature thing, I think. I think they'd focused so much on keeping heat in the tyres, it was too much. And so he just ripped through the tyres every time.
Yeah,
they were set up for a full wet race, and then the Inters kind of mucked up the whole car setup.
Yeah, I think a few teams did that.
Yeah, like George Russell and the Williams.
Yeah.
Come on to more.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, Kimi Räikkönen, 5 out of 10. Difficult conditions, but didn't really do much, so it's probably a fair result for the experienced Finn.
Yep. Next up, we have Mercedes.
Sorry?
Yeah, Bottas.
Oh my God, yes.
P14. And then Lewis, it feels weird doing Lewis Hamilton now. But I'll start with Bottas. nice and easy. 1 out of 10. I did the same for Albon. I can't see any positives from this weekend. He span 5 times, and then he also had a half spin in there, and was lapped by his teammate. So, without going too in on Bottas, it's a 1 out of 10, no positives. I think that's fair.
That's fair. We don't have to do it because today was all about
Lewis Hamilton. 10 out of 10, secured a 7th World Championship. Qualified poorly. Mercedes, neither of them looked like they could get it together in qualifying. Had a bit of a okay start. It wasn't, incredible. And then he got stuck behind Sebastian Vettel when he went on to Inters. And then it was like, not much is going to happen here. And then he just does what Lewis Hamilton does and turns into a time management god, an intermediates god, and damp conditions god.
Yep.
Sebastian Vettel, Ferrari pit, giving Lewis Hamilton clean air, just flies. Absolutely flies. Overtakes Sergio Perez really easily and flies to the end. I can't remember the winning margin. It was something ridiculous.
I think it was something like 23, 25 seconds.
Yeah, which, considering where he was, probably about the halfway mark, he was like a pit stop behind. And he's finished a pit stop ahead.
Yeah, I don't think there are any, because I think on full wets, Max Verstappen might be the best on the grid.
Mm.
But on those intermediate compounds, on those conditions that they're wet, but they're not dry, and they're then drying conditions, he seems to be able to make the intermediate compounds work better than any other driver, maybe ever.
Mm.
He certainly is fantastic. It was reminiscent of conditions, obviously slightly different in that, but maybe, go back to title rifle Felipe Massa spinning around in the 2008 British Grand Prix and Lewis Hamilton storming off into the distance after getting past Kovalainen. But, securing that 7th title in style was Lewis Hamilton. And, it was just amazing. It's amazing to witness history. I think a record equaling 7 world titles, and that performance was probably the best way he could have done it.
Yeah, with a win, a commanding win.
And a thing you can't go, it's because the Mercedes car is better. That was just pure Lewis Hamilton.
I don't think the Mercedes was actually the quickest car, because we saw in qualifying they were nowhere.
Yeah.
And Racing Points looked very quick. Red Bulls looked very quick, and Lewis just somehow pulled out the bag.
Absolutely.
So 10 out of 10, driver of the day.
It's unbelievable.
No one could really match him in those conditions. So next up is the AlphaTauri duo in P13, P12, Gasly P13, KVYAT P12. Yeah.
Difficult one to judge here, because I literally don't remember seeing the AlphaTauris at any point during this race.
Let me think. I think it was another tide temperature. I think they were good on full wets, but when it went on tinters, they were no longer.
Well, yeah, Gasly had a superb start. I remember that, because he started from the back, didn't he? And had to make his way up.
The KVYAT,
and he made his way up to
muck-up.
Yeah, he made his way up to P13, but he pretty much stayed there for the rest of the race. It was just all kind of first lap. And KVYAT, I suppose, started P17. Might have been P16 with Gasly's penalty. To P12, decent for both. I don't think the AlphaTauri had any pace, so I'm going to go for 7 out of 10s for both.
In those conditions, no. Although still looking very quick car. Then I move on to the Renault duo of Ocon P11, Ricciardo P10. Yikes. They were looking good for third in the constructors. Now they find their position quite far behind McLaren and Racing Point. Great start from both of them, I believe. And then it was almost too good that Ricciardo got caught in a sandwich and took out his own teammate. So that was Ocon's race. He did a great recovery drive, to be fair to him, to P11 after receiving that puncture on the first lap. But obviously, P11 still no points. And Ricciardo just struggled with pace on those inters. I think another tyre temperature issue, like everyone.
Sorry, wait. We'll just reinsert the clip. Another tyre temperature issue. Another tyre temperature issue. Another tyre temperature issue.
Everyone was so concerned about getting heat into their tyres that they forgot to not overdo it. They forgot about overheating the tyres. I'm not going to give Ricciardo more because he did tag his teammate at the beginning, so I kind of want to go 6-6.
Yeah, 6 out of 10, I think it's both. Considering where Renault have been. It's maybe harsh on Ocon because his thing was pretty much out of his control.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was a brilliant recovery drive, but it's not a great day at the office.
Still P11.
Yeah. Exactly. Which means next up is McLaren, is it?
You have got Racing Point.
Racing Point, because Lance Stroll finished all the way down there. Oh, Lance Stroll.
P9.
The race that could have been. The race that could have been. Started from pole. Fantastic taking pole position. A joint fifth youngest pole sitter, or fifth youngest pole sitter of all time, which is super impressive, has to be said. Was brilliant. Most of the race kind of stopped halfway. Dominating race from Lance Stroll.
Absolutely domination from him.
And again, I think he was the one who struggled with tyre overheating issues, which meant that his tyres, or he just pushed them and burnt them up a little bit too much. And then when he pitted for his last block of intermediates, gone.
Couldn't do anything with them.
They just did not perform for him at all. And it was so sad to see because he had driven an absolutely brilliant race and it just fell apart for him.
Yep.
Absolutely fell apart from him. And the question is really, you have to say, well, I feel like, with how dominant Lewis would have been, he would have finished P2 or P3.
If he hadn't pitted.
If he hadn't pitted. I don't know, but would he have been able to look after his tyres as well as Checo and Hamilton? Probably not. Vettel and the fresh would have gone. So maybe he would have finished up a few higher places, but just not switching on those last set of intermediates.
In an interview, he said he felt it was the right decision to pit because he felt his tyres were gone. So clearly he didn't have the confidence to push through the graining and regain the grip. So, yeah.
It just, for whatever reason, didn't work out for Lancey today. So, it's harsh because is it driver performance? It just didn't happen as well. I suppose it's got to go to a 7 out of 10 in the end now. It really easily could have been a 10 or a 9 out of 10. But where he's finished in those last set of interstints, it's just gone down. So, P7. Checo, 9 out of 10. I think the only one I feel today who deserves the 10 out of 10 is Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
But Checo was a damn good drive as well. He made those tyres push and go all the way to the end like Lewis Hamilton, the only one who else was able to make a one-stop strategy work. And it was just Checo being Checo. Is it any coincidence that the guys who are renowned for best tyre management on the grid finished P1 and P2 in this race?
Yeah.
It was superb drive. I mean, the only thing you can probably be critical of Checo is he let Lance fly off into the distance.
Yep.
But he got stuffed a bit on a pit stop, which brought him back into the clutches.
Yeah,
which
5-second pit stop, yeah.
Exactly, which then made him have to catch up with Lance again.
Which he did.
So, exactly. And he looked like he'd overtake Lance before Lance pitted. Inherited the lead there, but just within a blink of an eye, it seemed that Lewis Hamilton just took him.
Yep.
And there wasn't really a battle between those two. But 9 out of 10 for Checo. Absolutely superb drive. He finally gets the podium he deserves. And it will be a crime if he is not on the grid in 2021.
He is, I think, 4th in the overall standards. Let me check that. Yes, he is.
He is 4th.
And he's missed 2 races.
Yep. You know who's amazing, though? 4th and 5th is amazing to me. Checo 4th. He's missed 2 races, but, still has that car.
Yeah.
3 points behind him.
Isn't it Leclerc?
It's Charles Leclerc. Yeah. Charles Leclerc in that Ferrari is ahead of Ricciardo, Albon, Gasly with a race win, Stroll, Ocon, Sainz, Norris. He's behind all of them in that Ferrari. That's so impressive in terms of it, and shows how good. And he probably still would have been up there, wouldn't he, if he'd managed to score P? Well, if he'd secured P2, he would have had P4.
Yes, because if it was P3 and P2, I think they'd be joint on points.
But he fluffed it.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it. Racing point.
We haven't come on to Ferrari yet. Jeez. Yes. You can have them in a second, because I'm moving on to McLaren in P8 with Lando Norris and P5 with Carlos Sainz. I was mocking McLaren throughout the whole race, going, they're not in the third constructors fight at all. They haven't got the car. It's too slow compared to Renault Race Point. Yet they've come out with a pretty decent double points finish there. I can't remember. I don't know what the points difference is, but I don't think they lost too much out to Racing Point at the end. But yeah, Carlos Sainz, they both had, Carlos Sainz had a bit of a classic Carlos Sainz uneventful race and has ended up in P5. Nearly, if he was a bit closer to the carnage at the end between the Ferrari and Checo, maybe he would have picked up a bit more there. But he looked good on those inters. I presume he did a 2-stop, but we didn't really see much of him.
The only bit I remember of Carlos Sainz is him overtaking Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah. It was a bit of another ghost race from Carlos Sainz, who finished in P5.
But fantastic drive from him.
So I forgot I need to give him a rating and not just compliment him. I'm going to go with 8 out of 10 for Carlos Sainz. And Lando Norris had some great overtakes, actually. I do remember watching Lando. But some elbows out overtakes, I think it's fair to say. But great moves. Brought the excitement. I kind of want to say 8 out of 10 again, but he has finished in P8 and his teammates finished P5. So I feel like I need to go 7 out of 10. You could say an out of 10.
I think 7's fair for Lando.
7.
I think it's fair. He's recovered it well. We had a poor start.
We had a grid penalty to do with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not the best for Lando Norris on that front.
He's got points and he had some great overtakes.
Yeah, correct.
So on to double Ferrari.
Double Ferrari.
Wait, no.
God.
I messed up.
Oh, Stephen's messed up.
I finish on double Ferrari.
Oh, he's messed up.
Because we go on to double Red Bull.
Double Red Bull with Alexander Albon.
Yep.
Alex Albon. The race that could have been for Alex, I think.
We thought he was going to win at one point. And we were like, this could be the race that saves his career. If he just holds it together and wins, this is it. They can't get rid of him.
I think if you wanted a race that epitomises Alex Albon's Red Bull career, this is the perfect race. Shows moments of brilliance, which is it. And Alex Albon, there should never be a doubt about it. If you get to F1, you're a good driver. And Alex Albon shows glimpses of being a really good driver. Some of his moves, he made overtaking look easy when others were struggling. Like we said, Lewis Hamilton struggled to get past Vettel.
Also, the move on Vettel was great.
Yeah.
Just on the inside.
Hamilton spent ages trying to get past Vettel, made a mistake, Albon came through, and then next thing you knew, Albon was ahead of Vettel and was coming into his own and looked lightning quick out there and was looking to charge down the racing points.
Yeah.
But when we'll come on to his teammate fluffed, everything was like, okay, this is Alex's opportunity. All right, this is his chance to really get on the back of those racing points and to do well. He's got the pace, he's got everything in his hands. And then, look, incredibly difficult conditions. It has to be said. But when your seat is on the line, you can't afford to go, well, he drove well up until the spin. It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't afford to do that. So, look, it's not harsh. I think it was actually one of Albon's best drives in a Red Bull. But unfortunately, the mistake stopped it being the drive that he needed.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a 7 out of 10 in the end, I think.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair on that. And with Max Verstappen, I'm going to go worse. I'm going to go 6 out of 10.
I would go even harsher. I would go like a 4 out of 10 for Max.
Yeah, you know what? Because of the high standards we expect of Max, you're right. 4 out of 10 for Max, because he just got everything so wrong and spent so many spins, pushed it. The start wasn't necessarily his fault, but you felt like this is a weakness in Max that exposed. I mean, he's had a brilliant season, and I'm not going to lie, I can understand his frustration because he has the ability to be up there challenging, and he's driven the socks or the wheels off that car all year, and he was peed off that he didn't get to pole. He was peed off then from the start that he dropped back.
Yep.
He then made it up, and then he was peed off that he got stuck behind Checo, and that was the perfect storm that he just wasn't patient and just, spun out, went wide. That pretty much ruined his race. A Red Bull strategy call. It seemed weird that they didn't pit him for fresh inters when Charles Leclerc pitted, unless they'd already gone through their inters, but I couldn't imagine that had happened.
Because he pitted again.
Yeah, exactly, for fresh inters. Yeah, so it seems strange that they didn't do it at that stage of the Grand Prix, and him and Charles Leclerc just worked their way up, and then he would have, been pushing for a P2 at the end on those fresh inters. And with the pace that the Red Bull showed there, but he wasn't happy with the intermediates all weekend, to be fair, and it just didn't work out. Yeah, it was a massive opportunity of a race win missed out for Max Verstappen.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Just going back to the Checo take, Checo's account of it was quite funny. Because I couldn't really see much in my mirrors all race. And there was one point where Max was all over the back of me. My race engineer was telling me. And then 1 minute I couldn't see him anymore. It was like I saw him in my mirrors, and then we went around the corner, and then I saw him no more.
Oh, Checo. Well, he might see him a few more times in his mirrors if he makes the jump to Red Bull.
Yeah. But yes, on to the final team. Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel. Ferrari are back. P4, P3. Incredible.
Strong race. Sebastian Vettel podium. Yes.
Yes.
He doesn't have the worst ending in the world for Ferrari. He's got a podium at least this season.
But I think post-race, I heard that the Ferrari team were more supporting Leclerc than they were celebrating with Sebastian.
Obviously.
Just to show the relationship there.
That's how it has been all season. All season. And again, they almost tried to stuff him up with another rubbish pit stop. So Sebastian Vettel, had to get that podium. He drove out of his skin again. 9
out of 10. He did the 2-stop perfectly, had the pace at the end to stay with Leclerc and Checo, and then cleaned up on Leclerc's mistake to snatch that final podium spot. 9 out of 10 for him. And then Leclerc drove fantastically as well. He nailed the 2-stop. He had more pace than Sebastian because he got past him. He had to overtake him. So I kind of feel harsh giving him a lower rating, but he has thrown away a podium spot at the end, a P2 even at the end, because he wasn't under pressure. He just mucked up his braking point, couldn't find the grip, and then lost 2 positions. So I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10, but it was a stellar day for the Ferrari boys.
That's what we would have gone. They were the best team performance of the day.
Yeah.
Definitely.
100%.
Definitely the best team performance of the day. But that, guys, is it for another driver ratings. And Turkish Grand Prix, I thought it was a brilliant race.
Yeah.
Really was a good race this season. And, you know, I think Martin Brundle said on commentary, it's a good advertisement for lower downforce cars. I know you, Stephen, made the comment going, why Lewis Hamilton's still going to win?
Yeah. I was like, Lewis is still 20 seconds ahead. Is this a great
But there had been such a mix-up, and that 20 seconds ahead...
The race was a roller coaster with everyone.
That 20 seconds ahead was Lewis Hamilton being Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Like, he was just unbelievable that day. And even Lewis Hamilton's critics have to just go, fair play, Lewis. That was a hell of a drive.
Yeah.
Absolutely was. But yeah, guys, that is it from us today. As always, comment down below with your ratings or your thoughts on our ratings and on the race in general as always. Tomorrow will be F1 Fantasy, where we review the GP, and obviously on Wednesday we will have the F1 podcast where we talk about things in a little bit more detail and obviously talk about the great achievement that it is for Lewis Hamilton winning 7 drivers' world titles. A massively impressive feat, certainly. So we look forward to talking about that in a bit more detail. And if you're new around here, or you haven't done so already, Stephen,
you can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it! So for now, UF1 fans, keep racing.